You're listening to Titans of the Trades. I'm your host, Ryan England, author of Hire Better People Faster and creator of the CoreFit hiring system, a proven process to help growing companies attract and retain only the best. I'm on a mission to revolutionize the perception of the trades and elevate it to new heights. After growing up in a blue-collar family, my passion for making the trades cool again runs deep. If you're a titan in the industry and want to be on my show, stick around until the end and I'll reveal how you can be my next guest. I'm your host, Ryan England, and in today's episode, you're going to meet from the founder of a restoration company. I'm not going to tell you how old he is, but when he says it on the show, you're going to be blown away by the organization that he's been able to create in really a tough location and being a restoration contractor. So he's got some great insight into what he's done to build the company up, how he's invested in his people, and makes different decisions around the team that he's decided to grow. Can't wait for you to hear from Eduard Mirzoian with Restores. Let's jump in. Edward, welcome to the show.
Ryan, thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about your journey to get to where you've gotten and some things that maybe have worked out for you along the way.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things that, to keep myself in check is I always try not to look at where we're at right now and always look into the future, because if you start drinking your own juice, that's not a good place that you'll end up in. So about 5 years ago, right before the pandemic, I moved to LA, kind of branched off of our family business. We were in Las Vegas originally. So kind of branched off, felt like there was too many lions in the den. So I opened up Restores, rented out a little office, like 8x8 at a plumbing company, and decided to do their jobs also. Then, pandemic hit and leveled out the playing field for, small, medium, large companies. So started not listening to what was going on externally and just focused on what I knew and, honed in on the things that I was really good at and focused on some of the things that I wasn't really good at and just developed myself. And at the same time, company started developing, brought on some great, amazing superstars to the team that were actually looking to work instead of play around and not go to work and get free money from the government. So we just started building out the team, and fast forward now, 5 years later, we're at 3 locations in Southern California, one in Orange County, one in Gardena, one in Van Nuys, which is our headquarters. And we're looking to be in Las Vegas, back to Las Vegas and Arizona by Q2 of next year. So came around full circle.
Back to your roots and back to the heat. And then you said Arizona, back to the heat.
Yeah.
So that's great. So 5 years and you've gotten to where you're at. What are some of the things that you've learned along the way that either helped you fast track that, or things that maybe you found from another coach or consultant, somebody that shared some things with you and you're like, well, that was a game changer for me. That's what allowed me to go 3 locations in 5 years, really make this happen.
Yeah. The main things are, people, as we found out during the pandemic, right? It was, you might have had the leads, but most people had a people problem. They didn't have the people necessary to execute on those leads. And they also probably, had people that weren't fully bought into the company. So that was a reflection of their company culture, probably, right? So how they treated these people, how they paid these people, and the systems and processes that they had, and how they were able to adapt with the trying times that we came across. In regards to another way that we grew the company so quickly was that we started listening to other people that were successful, and what were they doing that was a little bit different, or what were they doing that was not normal in the restoration industry, like the HVAC, garage door, plumbing, electrical industries. They were using certain CRMs and they had a certain workflow, and they were doing financing, and some of that stuff doesn't exist in the restoration industry. So we just picked up some pieces and added it to our puzzle and kind of came up with the systems and workflows that we currently have that are working very well for us.
Okay. Yeah, I love that you look to other industries and see what they're doing, because sometimes we get in our own little bubble and we're just like, well, everybody in this industry is struggling. One of the things that I've seen, especially with a lot of the companies that have seasonality associated, HVAC, roofing, those kinds, they're like, oh, slow season's just the slow season. It's the way it is. There's nothing we can do about it. And I was like, well, other industries that are impacted by the seasons don't have slow seasons. And so they fail to look outside of that. I mean, one of the things that's always interested me about restoration companies is that you really are at the mercy of a disaster. It's not like people are like, hey, you know what? I was just thinking maybe I should have a restoration company out here and help me with my kitchen, right? It doesn't work like that for you. So what are some of the things that you found that help you to just continue to grow the company and necessitate hiring these great people?
Yeah, some of the things that I found that have definitely helped us grow these past few years, especially with people, has been to create a great culture, first of all, and treat others like how I would want to be treated when I was doing all sorts of jobs, whether it was working at a restaurant, working at a yogurt shop, or doing any of these things, which were more normal jobs than what I have right now. But I always felt like I would tally up things that I didn't like at my previous jobs. And then when I was in the position to be a leader, I made sure that I didn't do any of those things, right? And, we're still a family owned and operated company, but I've always thought of our culture. And when I was younger, by the way, I'm only 29 years old, but when I was younger than that, my vision was always like, hey, I want to have like the original Silicon Valley culture mixed with the construction industry and craftsmanship and, high quality white glove service that we provide. So I somehow managed to mesh those two together. And, we have like ping pong tables at the office, everyone feels free. And, we have modern office with wood, glass, and, best coffee machines. And I go to sleep and wake up just thinking about how I can improve my employees' lives. So for example, like, helping them out with their personal lives. If they're looking to rent or purchase a home, I give them access to my connections. If they want to buy a car, or they want to lease a car, or whatever it may be, I give them access to my connections. So if we need to fix their credit score, right? So we always want to create goals for our people. And if I could help my people in their personal lives and for them to win too, they're immediately going to be obligated to do that in return for me. So I always try to overfill their value cup, and for this not to just be a job, but for this to be a place where they're benefiting on all aspects of their life when they join this family. So I think culture and people is a very important thing, and because if you just think about it, the amount of people that we have and whoever these people are cannot be duplicated at a different place. They could use our systems, they could use our workflows, but the exact people doing the exact tasks can never exist anywhere else but restorers. So you're never going to get the exact outcome. And I think that's what's the differentiating factor between every single business. It's the exact people in the business doing those things in a certain way. So systems and people, I think, are the most important things in business.
I love that. So, I mean, what you're really talking about, we call the core of the company, that the way you behave, the way you think, the way you get along, the way you connect. And you're right. If your entire team went to work for another company, minus the leader, they would get completely different results, because that leader would be treating them differently, investing in them differently. And I love what you said about that personal growth, that personal development, the examples you gave, buying a house, buying a car, fixing their credit scores. Those things are so simple. They're so easy to do, because all you're doing is making a connection request. You're probably not a credit repair expert, but you probably know one. And that can be so meaningful, so deeply meaningful to someone on our team. It's something we talk about in our Growth Accelerator program, is that when we're investing in our people personally, find out what their personal goals are and then do that for them. And it blows my mind how few companies actually know if someone wants to buy a house, or if they don't have good credit, or if their kids are struggling in school and they just need help with tutoring or something like that. It blows my mind how fuzzy it is, our relationships with our team. But it sounds like you've really embraced that and said, hey, I really want to connect with these people, really understand what makes them tick, who they are as people, and then build systems to support their growth, their personal growth, which that level 4 leaders, if you look at John Maxwell's 5 levels of leadership, level 4 leaders, people follow you because of what you've done for them. And that's really what you're saying, is you're going out of your way, you're doing stuff for them, which I imagine law of reciprocity kicks in and they want to do more for you.
Yeah.
Is that right?
100%. Yeah, 100%. And I always say this, but I have this, not a quote, but a saying that I say, right? I say, so needing to overpay people is often a symptom of not having a strong culture, just like having the lowest price is a symptom of not having anything unique about your product or people. So that's one of the things that I truly believe in. Like, we pay very well, but the culture is so strong that it just overfills that value cup, because I truly care about every single person in the company. And it takes so little for me to do that, because genuinely, I think my family and I truly love people and enjoy every single person we work with. So when you deep inside love and care about people, you don't need to do much, right? Because it's so genuine. You can't fake, true feelings. And I think the reason why most people have a problem with that is because they view relationships as transactional, especially with the people inside their company, right? Because at the end of the day, the most important person are the people in the company. And because if you take care of your people go outside and take care of your clients, right? And since I was small, as a family, and I've been raised to truly value relationships and respect and appreciate people, and I think that's carried on to my business.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's so much truth in what you said. And some of the things that you're saying, it's all kind of those, well, duh kind of things, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you care about your people, they'll care about you.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of business owners say, hey, you know what? No one will ever care about the business as much as I do. And I don't believe that to be true. I think they will. I think especially in their area, they'll care about their area more than you ever will. But I think what your people really need is to know that you care about them as much as you care about the business.
Yeah.
And when your people know that, they'll go to the ends of the earth for you.
I mean, they are the business. So the sooner people understand that, the sooner, they'll see, they'll be comfortable and safe and stable in the people department. And then they could focus on, becoming the leader and visionary that they need to, and start actually working on the business, not hiring and firing and hiring and training and firing, which, most people go through, and it's just a never ending cycle. And they never are able to take those few steps forward because they're constantly going multiple steps back. So, yeah.
And that's incredibly expensive, incredibly time consuming, exhausting. I mean, there's so many negatives to that revolving door that I think a lot of people in the trades have created, which is, you know what? Nobody cares. Everybody's lazy. Everybody's entitled. And they have this mindset of, if someone messes up today, I'm just going to fire them and find someone new.
Yeah.
And I've always looked at that and said, you know what? They made a mistake. Think of that as an investment in their education.
Yeah.
Because now you're going to go find someone new that may have never made that mistake before. And if you don't train them on it, they could make it again. And you just keep doing it over and over and over again.
Yeah, for sure.
So how do you balance this with running an organization where people are all out in the field? Right? Last time I checked, a restoration company, you're sending crews out to resolve and mitigate these issues. How do you get that culture to work when they're out in the field? I mean, it's great that you have the games and the kind of the culture stuff at the office, but they're out in the field. So what have you found to really embrace that? How do you make that work?
Yeah. And so with the size that we're currently at, so about 42 people in our company, there's a lot of things that, I'm not handling on the day to day. So I think obviously, being a leader is one of the most important things. Like, you're guiding the ship, right? But also having great leaders in the positions that you're not able to oversee. So it all, I think, comes top down. So the way that we're able to manage and execute still out in the field is by having amazing, branch managers and project managers that are able to understand our core values and really, help and guide the people out in the field. And when they come into the office, they still obviously have access to all of the things that the office has. We really go hard when it comes to like team building exercises, whether it's like escape rooms, whether we're going to bowling, whether we're going to Top Golf or whatever it may be. But we try to, schedule that and create a cadence for and focus on, obviously our people, which is one of the most important things. And then, we also we're marketing our culture. So what I mean by that is like most people market to get more leads, right? But then when you have enough leads, how do you have good people in place to execute on those leads and, drive those systems and workflows? So what we always do is we're always marketing our culture. And what that does is that attracts people that want to be part of that culture. If you want to get an average person and you want to get someone that's, part of the general population, which the general population is not doing anything special, you have to do things that are special to attract these special people. So we don't want to get people that are looking for a job because they don't have one. We don't want to hire people that are looking for a job and they've been to 4 places in the last year. So we want to pull people from places that they've been there for many, many, many years, and they've spent the time, energy, and money, and now they're just looking for a better opportunity and a better culture and a motivated and driven team. So we're constantly putting out videos of our people. We're constantly, we have a full-time content creator that is able to showcase our company culture and all of our values and what we stand for, because at the end of the day, businesses either have one of 2 problems. 1, it's the people problem, or 2, it's not enough leads problem. So we're trying to tackle both of them.
Wow. As we wrap up here, what would you say is the number one thing that you found for creating that attraction mechanism to where you're attracting the best people? Like, what's the one thing that you do? Is it content? Is it employee referrals? Like, what's that silver bullet, if you will, that's helped you?
Whoa. So I won't say it's one thing, but it's a combination of doing all of those things at the same time consistently, because it's almost never one thing. But if I were to narrow it down, it would be like from the way our ads are written, right? So it's like in one of our ads, it says we're looking for someone that will basically get a tattoo of our company at some point in their career because they love this company so much. So it's always like, right? Especially nowadays, like the goal is to gain attention. So once we have your attention and we can narrow it down to exactly who we're looking for. But if you post a boring black and white ad and, you get 10 people responding to it, so now you only have 10 people to choose from. And then if you narrow it down to the 1%, you have one guy and that's your only choice, right? But if we're able to just garnish so much attention that we have a pool of 100 people to choose from, now we could really find and have options for the company to really find that specific person that we could hire that would fit the culture. And I keep saying culture, but I've made so many mistakes on hiring smart people, but they don't fit the culture. Hiring good people that could do this job, and they're probably overqualified to do their job, but they just don't fit the culture. So what ends up happening is either the people that have created this culture end up getting, fussy and annoyed or whatever it may be, or that person feels out of place. So I think the most important thing that I've noticed over hiring and firing all of these years is like, if they don't fit your culture, it doesn't matter who it is. They just shouldn't be there because that's not their place.
Yeah, and I thank you for calling that out, because I do think that culture becomes very weaponized. A lot of people think it's very cliche, but at the end of the day, it's how a group of people behave when they hang out together. And I mean, that's what you're talking about. So I love that. And I think that is such great insight that there's not one thing that just works. It's a combination. And then you used a word that I think is really important. And I want everybody to hear it. It was consistently. You can't just do it once and go, well, we did it and it didn't work. You're doing these things over and over and over again, and you just keep doing them. In fact, I was just on your website today, and I was shocked that you actually don't have any job openings right now. Like, there's stuff up there. It's like, hey, if you want to join our team, you can raise your hand and say, I want to join your team. But I didn't see that. I'm going to say desperation that I usually see from a lot of other contractors that are like, hey, we just need to hire. We'll pay the best. We don't really care if you know how to do this stuff, those kinds of things. That's not you guys. Like, you've really stood behind it and said, this is who we are. We know who we want to attract, and we're going to put in the tools and we're going to put in the work to be able to attract those people. Edward, I think that's such great information. Hey, if people want to know more about what you're up to at Restores and just learn from you, because it sounds to me like you're a wealth of knowledge, how can they do that?
Yeah. So 2 things. 1, my email, EDUARD, M as in Mary, @restores.com. And that's RESTORERZ.com. I'm actually, that's what kind of keeps me going, is by helping other people. So, any and all information or whatever I'm doing right now, I don't see anybody as competition. So, if I don't do this, then I get demotivated. And when I'm not helping people, I kind of get into the slum of it. So, or you could reach out to me to my cell phone, 702-513-5557. Any and all questions, I'm all game.
Wow. And by the way, he does answer his cell phone because I called him. He does answer it. But Edward, what a generous offer. Thank you so much for that. And I mean, when I think about your age, and you're in California, which is not an easy state to compete in for talent. And I mean, you really just made it harder on yourself, but you're excelling and you're making it happen. And I love that. So I know that anybody that takes you up on this offer, they're just going to be able to get such a treat from you. Thank you so much for being on the show, Edward. I really enjoyed it.
Appreciate it.
Ryan England here. Thank you so much for listening to Titans of the Trades. If you're a titan in the construction, manufacturing, or skilled trades industry and would like to be a guest on my show, please visit podcast.corematters.com. If you found value in this interview, would you share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot on your phone and share it with a friend or post it on social. And if you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Titans of the Trades. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, click the subscribe button. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and get me one step closer to solving the labor crisis facing the industry. Want to know more about how we're doing that? Go to our website or follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening.